Behind us you can see Manuel Island and Valletta, the fortified city that we showed you last week.
But today we are leaving the city walls behind and heading out to the very edges of this tiny island.
From the cliff tops on the west to a luxury marina, join us this week as we discover the beautiful Maltese coast.
We're Rick and Adam, the floating nomads.
We quit the 9 to 5, sold our house and set out to live and travel differently.
Whether we're slow travelling over land or waking up to nothing but sea.
One unique home is always waiting for us, our narrowboat, Serenissima.
Join us on board and abroad.
Malta is surprisingly small, which makes seeing the full island effortlessly easy. We just hopped on a local bus to reach the dramatic south coast. First stop, the Blue Grotto.
So you saw how clear it was from our balcony. Now that we've taken that very efficient bus to get here, it's not so clear.
No, it's quite hazy. I reckon it's going to change though, because it's like the cloud seems really high.
Yeah. The sea looks a bit rough as well. Meant to be getting a little boat. Yeah,
we're getting a little boat if they're running. We've been told to expect them not to be running if the sea is at all choppy. So, fingers crossed.
Buses are so efficient on Malta. You basically have a €2 charge and that will get you 2 hours from wherever you are. And
you can get pretty much everywhere in 2 hours in Malta.
You can, because it is that small an island. But the temptation might be to, get on one of the red or the blue hop-on, hop-off buses, the tourist buses, which go into the tens of euros. But no, just look on the Malta Public Transport website, find the bus you need, go to a bus stop, and it's so easy. You just dab your debit card and get on. And we're going to be using that a lot today because it goes past all of these coastal sites.
So right now we are walking down to the Blue Grotto, which is a series of, I think there's 8 caves, all interconnected. And the light on the water in the morning is supposed to be incredible. It's supposed to glow. So let's see if it does.
I think you need the sun to do that.
We've got the sun.
It's hazy though, we'll see.
Yeah.
We've probably got a 5-minute walk and then we'll find out. So why a whole episode dedicated to the coast? Well, a lot of people do come to Malta for short amounts of time and they will just stay in the cities. But for us, Malta is all about the coast and the sea. It's ruled by the sea, basically.
Absolutely. It's so dependent on the sea. Like, this is just an example. So I went and had my eyes tested last week in Malta, and I need some new glasses. So they were supposed to be 2 days, but they've been a week now, and that's just because there was a big storm last week and loads of supplies didn't make it to the island.
There were things falling off roofs.
Yeah,
so,
hitting cars down below and stuff.
You couldn't walk on the pavements that day. So yes, we are ruled by the sea when living on Malta, but that's kind of cool. The coast is dotted with those towers and they used to contain just a tiny cannon because they weren't for defence, they were for warning. So if they saw an attack on the horizon, they would fire a small cannon which would be heard further inland and then they could prepare the real defence. Follow the windy paths and the windy steps.
Don't see any caves yet then.
Well, they're around the corner.
Oh.
But the sea is too rough, definitely.
Yeah, there's going to be no boat tour, is there?
Never know. Let's go around the corner. There's never shortage of places to sit by the coast because Malta is a massive rock. That's part of the reason I love it here on this small island in the middle of the Med, so close to Africa. It does feel isolated and that's a feeling I quite get on board with. Well, as you know from narrowboating, we like a mooring by itself. So this is the coastal equivalent for me and it just sets me at peace, really. In fact, I read a book called The Blue Mind and it's all about how water calms you. Well worth a read. please, can we see boats around this corner?
Absolutely not. It's far too raw.
Here we go.
No.
I see no boats. I see no ships.
See no caves either. We're going to get wet if we go down there.
Ooh, yeah. So we basically have to walk along that causeway by the waves. Shall we run the gauntlet?
This is going to be interesting.
We're by no means in waterproofs. Let's see what happens. Probably been a bit silly doing this. I was holding on, but yeah, not worth the risk. On we go.
Wow, look at the colour of the sea. That is completely turquoise. Apparently this only happens at this time of day.
Yes, so it's a fallacy that ultra blue seas are created by blue skies. It's actually the sun reflecting from the white
seabed, presumably.
Well, the white rock just underneath the surface.
And that's why Malta has lots of them, because it's this yellow sandstone.
Yeah, which obviously dips under the sea, which makes the colour of the sea this
is amazing.
It is. Someone is swimming in that rough sea there, so brave person. Yeah, and that is the boats, the sort of boats that they use, little tiny boats, to get actually into the caves. But not running today. However, through the magic of production, we have actually found and bought, just for you, some stock images of a boat ride through those caves. So down where we've just been is where you get on the boat and they row out to sea and then back in to the caves. But we want to see what you've just seen from above. So I'm out of breath. So we've walked back up that big hill, back up the cliff to the top, and we go to the official viewpoint so we can see the caves from above.
Visiting in the morning to get the colour of the sea, because right now the sun is right above where the water is shallowest inside that cave and it is glowing completely turquoise. I don't know whether you can see it on camera, but it is an incredible colour.
It's quite magical.
So we are on our way to see one of the oldest things we will ever see. This is Ħaġar Qim temple, and it's over 5,000 years old. That makes it older than the Great Pyramid at Giza, older than Stonehenge, and it's right here in Malta. Hello, could we get 2 tickets, please?
Hello, friend.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't think it was built with sound.
No. So,
a protective dome on top of it.
So the history of this place is that no one knew it was here until less than 100 years ago. It was just buried in stone and earth, and then it was uncovered. They basically found this whole temple here, and they keep that on just to protect it from the elements because it is on the edge of a cliff.
But minus 3,000 odd BC.
Yeah.
That's just so...
5,000 years old.
Yeah. And do we know who built it?
We know a little bit about the people.
You're going to say aliens?
No, it's not aliens.
Could be aliens?
We don't know what happened to the people that built it. So the people that were here didn't write their names. All the history we have is from these stones that we see in front of us. And there is a mystery attached to this place and these people as well. The whole temple period ended about 2,500 BC, and nobody knows why.
But really quick, like
Really
immediately.
quickly, yeah, these people just disappeared.
I'll tell you some people that haven't disappeared. That's a cruise ship excursion.
Yeah, there's a celebrity cruiser ship in apparently. I've never seen a flag. This hole in the rock isn't accidental. It holds a secret straight out of Indiana Jones. At dawn, on the summer solstice, a beam of light shoots through to hit the altar perfectly. Building work seems to be absolutely everywhere in Malta this year. You can't escape it anywhere you go, even here, in the middle of nowhere.
It's a good thing. It's making things refreshed.
For the summer, I suppose, it's all done out of season.
Okay, this is going to sound strange. Under this tent, it smells like Glastonbury.
Here we go.
Okay, yeah, it reminds me of Glastonbury. The smell of a tent in the sun. Maybe not quite as drunk.
Shortly after the first temple was found, archaeologists discovered a second one closer to the sea, and this one was even more intact.
Definitely less windy down there.
Yes,
Just dropped.
Weird because we're right next to the sea now.
And yeah, we did come here not just for the temples. This is one of our favourite places to visit on Malta, just to chill out. We've come here for hours with picnics.
We really like it here. Last time we came, there was just us and about 5 more people. Today is not like that. Today there are multiple cruise tours here, aren't there? So that island, or islet, as it's known, that you can see behind us is called Filfla, which is a lovely name. Filfla. Filfla.
Stop it.
Sorry.
Yeah, and Malta was under British rule until 1963? 7? 60s. Anyway, and whilst it was under British rule, they used to have naval practice. They used to have naval...
Target practice.
That's it. The Navy used to have target practice. The Navy used to have target practice at that island, and that is why it doesn't have a top.
No, you've got that wrong. They used to use that island for target practice, so they used to be in boats, and they used to shoot it, and basically they shot the top off the island.
Didn't I just say that?
No.
Okay.
Now it's a nature reserve. You can't go there. There are some endangered lizards that live there now, but it's all protected.
It's got a flat top.
It's got a flat top.
The haze has gone and the sun has come out, and it's absolutely spectacular up here, isn't it?
Yeah. Wow. So green.
We are so high up. Yeah, lush vegetation as well.
This is the highest point in Malta.
It is. So Malta is like a wedge of cheese or a doorstop, and this is the highest point. This is the back end of that wedge, and it goes all the way down, slopes all the way down to where our apartment is and where Valletta is as well. So that's where it just glides into the sea and under the water.
So there, the edge of the cliff.
Yeah.
There's a huge cliff there that goes down to the sea, but we're probably 3 times higher than that.
Yeah.
Where we are right now.
So that golf ball up there, usually they're like weather stations, but that one isn't. It is an air traffic control system, but not just for Malta. It's strategically placed.
So what, sorry?
Strategically placed.
Sorry? Can you repeat that?
I've said it correctly now.
Strategically placed?
here on Malta to act for a lot of the Mediterranean. So it's quite important for air traffic.
I'm not allowed near the edge because I'm very clumsy and the floor is very uneven. It won't take much for me to fall over one of these and end up down there, so I'll leave a nice gap. So this building behind me is a 400-year-old chapel and it's dedicated to Mary Magdalene. It's absolutely tiny, but what a setting.
One thing I don't think we've said about what we feel on Malta is the Friday feeling. It seems to be a real thing on Malta. A lot of businesses let people out at 2 or 3 p.m. and there's a really good vibe on a Friday afternoon and into the evening. People just set up for the weekend and start the party early, usually. And it just so happens that...
Guess what day it is?
It is Friday, but we often do these cliffs on a Friday because, I don't know, it just feels good up here. Just to be on the coast and have a view. It feels like
you're on top of the world, it really does.
But we want to go a bit further down towards the sea just before we head in for some Friday drinks. So let's go to a beach just further up the coast. On the way right down to the sea itself. And it's really weird, this bit. It's the northern part of the island, isn't it?
Yeah, you can see the sea on both sides. So the sea's there, but it's also there. So it's obviously like a really narrow bit.
Yeah.
Like a, what's the word?
Narrow bit. We'll just say narrow bit.
We'll just say narrow bit.
I mean, Malta, we know Malta is a small island, but that really does show you how narrow it can be at times.
This is where we're going. Għajn Tuffieha, learning how to say it in Maltese.
But also known as...
Riviera Beach, because there used to be a hotel here called the Riviera.
There are some steps down to the beach. I am assured.
Where?
Yeah, where?
Wow.
Ooh, okay. View of quite a secluded bay there, but we've had enough of cliffs today. It's time to get down to some actual sand, and all that's between us and the sand are 200 steps.
Oh, yeah, they look quite steep as well. This must have been the Riviera Hotel on the right here. Would have had an awesome view, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would. It's definitely not been used in a while.
No. I think from what I read, it was massive in the 60s. Lots of people used to stay there, and it closed in the 80s.
Today has had different feels wherever we are on the island, and yeah, this is definitely a different feel to all the others today. Very relaxing. We can hear the lapping of the water of the sea, and to be walking down to a beach on what is a very rocky island, really, with lots of cliffs. Yeah, this is a rare thing on Malta, and it's one of only a couple of proper beaches.
Too hot for this.
Nice to sit, sheltered from the wind.
It's lovely down here. I don't know how warm it is, but it feels like about 20 degrees. I've just had to take my coat off.
Feels like summer, dare I say.
No, it doesn't. Not in Malta.
Oh, well, not Malta.
It feels like
not
about
summer in Malta. It's
June in the UK is what it feels like.
so pedantic.
It's correct.
So it's been a lovely day and we've had the sun for it, but it is beginning to set
Yes,
now.
it's going to go behind that rock very soon. And before the sun sets, we have an appointment with some luxury.
Which is at the other side of the island and not fit for these clothes that we're in.
Absolutely. So we're going to go and get changed and we'll see you there.
Got to do the stairs.
Oh, nearly swore then.
So we're all dressed up now and we're in a rather special place. You've seen all the wild cliffs and the natural side of the coast, and now this is very much man-made.
Yes, this is Portomaso. We call it the Monaco of Malta. You'll see why.
Yeah, we come here for a bit of a treat night, which is exactly what we're doing now, but not before a walk around a really nice marina.
And the yachts.
It's built like a quarry, man-made, out of the cliff, the actual cliff from Malta, and they made this place back, and it was completed in 2001.
It doesn't look that old, actually. I wouldn't have said it was anything like that, because that means it's 25 years old now.
And actually, from the top of those stairs, that's probably the busiest bit on Malta, called Patcherville. It gets pretty lively, especially at the weekends, full of stag do's, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not our favourite place, to be honest. And it's so strange that that borders this.
Yeah, but once you get down those steps, it's just really quiet down here, and you can hear the creaking of the ropes. And it's nice to be in a marina again. Nice to be by boats.
We love looking at yachts. Isn't it? A giant infinity pool in the middle of all those houses, so you can just climb down your ladder and be in the pool in a second. Just wondering whether you could park a narrowboat in here.
I think I could fit it in that little space there, I reckon.
Yeah, checking there's an L-stand point in one of these buildings. I bet there is.
Probably. However, average price of an average berth here, £25,000 a year.
No.
Yeah, and bearing in mind that you don't use it. If you're using your yacht, then you're out in the ocean.
And I bet it's done by meters, and narrowboats famously very long. It's worryingly pointing inwards towards the residences.
They better toe the line, haven't they? Otherwise you get cannoned. And dominating the skyline as you look back towards Patcherville there is the massive 93-metre office tower. I think it's primarily office tower in Portomaso.
It's an eyesore.
It is. It's the largest, it's the tallest building on the whole of the Malta island.
Is it really? The other one, the one that lights up at night, isn't taller?
No.
The other one I mean?
Yes.
That's not taller?
No.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Looks taller.
Well, I can't see it from here, so it can't be. favourite things to do when we're in Portomaso is to visit the rather nice hotel bars around here. And one of our favourites is the Hilton, which is just over there. And you get a lovely view of the whole marina here. Yeah, it is like a mini Monaco without the crowds.
Will deal with it.
Yes, very nicely. Imagine this hotel in summer.
Absolutely gorgeous to be in that swimming pool.
Yeah.
But my favourite thing about it right now is that there are no people. There are currently 6 people on this terrace and we are 2 of them. Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, that's a good cosmopolitan.
Cosmo time is always a good time.
Yeah, the spritzers were the same price as cosmopolitan, and if that's the case, I always have a Cosmo instead.
Tastes like holiday.
Yeah.
Hope you've enjoyed this week joining us on the Maltese coast, from some very natural, lovely harbours and cliffs to this very man-made, luxurious harbour.
And the luxury continues next week, because next week's video takes place in a boutique hotel on Malta's smaller sister island, Gozo.
Very sorry to interrupt this programme, but we have a special announcement, which wasn't true at the time of filming that.
Hold on to your hats. Not really.
It's beautifully sunny today, however, it hasn't been. It's been very rainy, which meant that our Gozo stay, we put it off. Because sitting all day in a hotel whilst it rains outside, it's certainly not part of the plan.
So our special Gozo stay will be in 2 weeks, and next week is something a bit special.
You're going to like it. It's something different. Right, back to our old selves in the marina. If you like what you've seen this week, please do give us a thumbs up and subscribe. It's free for you to do, but it really does help our channel.
And please do comment on this video and all the others. We reply to as many as we possibly can, and we read every single one.
Until next week,
goodbye.